Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, the real Jax Carnage, and welcome to Lorehammer. We got an Imperial Fist episode. Joining me today, we got I am Jax Carnage. Hey, welcome.
Hello, yes, I am Jax Carnage.
How you doing, friend?
It's all right. It's all right.
And we also got another one of our homeboys. We got just Jax Capital Carnage. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, fellas? It's me, your homeboy, Jax Carnage, back at it again with another podcast.
Second time joining us. We had a fun time. What was the episode we did last time? I'm sure we had fun.
It was something Nurgle related, we were being putrid the entire time. And
just watching Jordan scream. But glad to have you back on.
Yeah,
that was a fun episode to listen to. So y'all keep doing you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. We got Imperial Fists episode. Before I get into it, let's just do some housekeeping. Come join the Discord. We do fun stuff like I'll assume somebody's identity. A little identity theft is always fun on the Discord. So you too could be a Jax Carnage or variant if you want. Come join us, hang out. We get up to shenanigans. You can also buy t-shirts and stuff off Redbubble. Other stuff's there too if you want. Redbubble. There's links in the description below.
I'm still waiting on that order from that Uslaneshi rap. I'll phrase it like that. Jax Carnegie.
Yeah.
Glorious.
We got a
glorious.
chat coming up with different Jax variants for sure. Perfect.
Fantastic. For I am Jax and you are Jax. We are all Jax in this wonderful creation monstrosity that we have birthed.
Jax,
Exactly. Speaking of birthing, come join the Patreon so you too can participate in this wonderful monstrosity that we have birthed.
The chaos god of Jax.
There we go. He is ascending, baby.
Yeah.
So, but just for $2.50 per month, I refuse to say 50 cents now. You get access to ad-free versions on the Spotify, and then for $5, you get access to the live stream where you get to see our lovely faces, hear our lovely voices, and all the kinds of chicanery therein.
Yeah, and on top of that, you also do get access to everything else that you get, such as joining our chat room and coming up with your own versions of Jax Carnage's names.
Worth every dollar, I promise.
Every dollar we will donate to Jax Carnage. Let the IRS know that.
The real Jax Carnage.
Yeah, the real Jax Carnage. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you could call in at the end of the episode and tell us your own Jax Carnage lore.
Now we're talking. I can't wait for the end of this episode.
Oh boy.
How did you become Jax Carnage? Well, it's a harrowing tale, let me tell you.
It all started with that darn podcast.
Cool. Well, Imperial Fists, we're doing the fourth and final episode in this series. We've done Rogal Dorn, we've done them in 30k, and now we're doing the 40k chapter variant. In this episode, we're talking about kind of the 10,000 year history. Not every battle, but I kind of assumed, or not assumed, I kind of found 4 major incidents, so I'm like, okay, that's very fisty. Then we'll dive into the organization, talk about the Codex Astartes, any special ranks. Their librarians have some cool, like, psychic powers that I found from Fantasy Flight Games, which you guys know I love pulling from. So those powers are pretty cool. Then we'll talk about the Fortress Monastery, recruitment. We've talked about how they're kind of the kings of amassing their own homeworlds and recruitment planets. They go and all Dorn wants is vassals. He doesn't want vassals, he wants recruits. And they pick up Necromunda. So we'll talk about that kind of recruiting world, what people from there must be like. And then Gene Seed, they pick up also Dorn's Darkness, which we briefly mentioned yesterday, but we'll find out what that really is. How depressed is depressed? We'll find out. And then we'll get into combat doctrine, beliefs, the Feast of Blade, pretty cool duel between chapters. And we'll finish it off with just their appearance in war gear. So it's going to be fun and informative, and I can't wait to make some fisting jokes with you guys. I know, Gerald, me and you like to fist each other, so I'm sure...
That was a private conversation, Mark. Gosh,
sorry, buddy. Sorry. Yeah.
I didn't know
That's the
you
way she
guys were
goes.
fisting each other too. I thought that was special.
You've just been fisting alone over in your room, poor bastard. No, we can all fist for the Emperor, and that's what I like about the Imperial Fist. We can all do it. We can all paint them. They're not that bad. Let's get into this episode, though.
For real. It's
Starting
funny
with
we're
their
talking. It's funny like we're doing the last episode on the Imperial Fist because IRL lore, my fortress monastery has hired on some Imperial Fists to help refortify, and all the repairs should be done by the end of this week. So,
Yes, nice. Fortify that place up. I can't wait for your sentry turrets that you're putting in.
Oh.
Heat based, of course. So yeah.
Oh, it's glorious. It'll be glorious. I can't wait to move back in. So, anyways, but now we're going to talk about their history. The Imperial Fists were the 7th Legion of the original 20 legions of the Adeptus Astartes. Their gene sire is Rogal Dorn. Unbroken by treachery, the Legion stood firm during the Horus Heresy. In the aftermath, they were divided into chapters under the Codex Astartes. They bear an enduring hatred for the Iron Warriors, as you do, born in blood and stone before the heresy itself. Both legions mastered the art of siege, one to build, the other to tear down. Their war has never truly ended. The Imperial Fists are counted among the most unyielding servants of the Emperor. When the Imperium has faltered, they have stood fast, grim, resolute, and unrelenting in defense. For their sacrifices and for their unbreakable defiance in the siege of Terra, they are named the Defenders of Terra, a title earned in fire and never forgotten. And we have a quote by a first company captain, Darnath Lysander. Let's see what voice can I give this guy. Okay. Gaze upon the deeds of the old brothers, but remember always that the triumphs of history are not but ash unless reconsecrated by blood and valor of the present. In every battle of every war, our ancestors stood witness at the birth of the Emperor's dream. Our inheritors will see that dream complete.
Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Why'd you choose that accent?
No idea.
Because they can never take our lives, but they can, you know.
They
can never take our
down
walls.
They can tear down our walls, but they can never take our Imperium.
Yeah, this guy gets it.
Okay, I'm on board now.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's some more Darnath Lysander quotes in this episode. So now that we've found his true voice, that's good. That's really good.
Oh man.
I really so. Oh man, I really hope I don't have to read any of his quotes. I think I'll go like Australian or British if I do a Scottish accent. I mean, on the topic of fisting, sometimes you bleed, and we could talk about the bleeding of the Imperial Fists. The Imperial Fists bled grievously during the brutal campaign against the Orcs, later known as the War of the Beast. On Ardmentua, nearly the entire chapter was annihilated, having already suffered in costly conflict against the Xenos race, known as the Chromes. Only Captain Corland endured, broken in body but unshaken in duty. From ruin, he invoked the last wall protocol, Rogal Dorn's buried command. If Terra faced extinction, the sons of the 8th... Wait, is that 8th or is that 7th? 7th Legion would unite once more.
Ooh, they almost came and fortified you.
I would have gotten fortified. I wouldn't have been able to walk that one off.
Fuck.
I can read. I know Roman numerals. Summon to the Fel system, the Black Templars, Crimson Fists, Fists Exemplar, Iron Knights, and Excruciators answered the call. Reforged into one, they spearheaded the war. They shattered an attack moon over Terra, found Primarch Vulcan, struck at Ultranor, and gave form to the Death Watch.
Yeah, this is kind of a whole 12-book series. Maybe it's 11, but I think it's 12. But in the first little bit of it, you get this cool battle. Not cool for the fist, but this battle where the whole chapter essentially gets wiped out down to a couple guys who are kind of off on the phalanx or just doing whatever. And they end up having to rebuild this whole chapter of Imperial Fists with their first or their second successors, these Black Templars, the Crimson Fists. And it's kind of cool how they kind of get back drawn together a little bit. They all have that last wall protocol that we talked about in the last episode.
Kind of makes you wonder if do the other chapters or like the original founding chapters do that too, because I know Blood Angels, there was a devastation of Baal with the Tyranids, and I know their chapter got decimated. Thousand Sons attacking Fenris messed up the Space Wolves big time. So I wonder if the other chapters employ that same method of like, okay, who are our other second foundings? Okay, okay, you guys, you're Imperial Fists now.
Yeah, like I could almost see everyone almost but the Ultramarines doing it, honestly. Like, you know, Space Wolves, I think they only have one chapter that they ever really officially founded. Same with Salamanders, they only have one or two. So I'm sure they would go to the call. Same with Raven Guard. Like lots of them didn't have that many successors. But then when you get to the Ultramarines, they have so many, and a lot of them don't even necessarily care, or, you know, they don't have that same bond, or they don't have that same maybe like genetic lineage where Blood Angels are all like, well, we're vampires together. We always have that at the end of the day. But Ultramarines could just kind of be, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Ultramarines, what flavor of Space Roman do you want to be today?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, I would like, the Space Wolves would probably call it like Reforging the Pack or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be cool if they like just randomly out of nowhere, like the guys you kind of sent off as second class citizens came back and they're like,
yeah,
hey.
Maybe for like the Space Wolves, it's called like the Howling or something, where like the chapters get together and they almost like howl off, almost like this is how many numbers we have. And then they're like, okay, well, this chapter is doing bad. Like we have brothers to spare in this howling, so send them to that weak chapter.
And they like wag their tails all in succession.
Of course they do.
The ground
they did a good job. They're good boys for the Emperor.
Yeah.
Bestest boys.
Bestest boys. They got the coffee mug.
number one chapter. Spaghetti Seth has a comment here. Raven Guard successors, we need your gene seed. Nobody shows up, and Kayvon doesn't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a lot of the other chapters either have like one or like, ooh, not a lot at all.
We're getting there, you know? It's okay. They're all just genetic freaks, and that's fine.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. Even Call's trying, and that's borderline heresy that we've established. So,
but it's such cool heresy, right? We love Primaris. Anyway,
kick this man, kick him out.
No!
I am contractually obligated to stay silent in this matter. So,
yeah. Listen, we're all just a Jax among many. We're all replaceable at this point. We're just one of the Jax among the collective. So, careful.
One with the carnage, one with the Jax. In the second assault on Olenor, Corlan met his end at the hands of the beast. With him died the last of the Imperial Fists. But Maximus Thane, chapter master of the Fist Exemplar, defied oblivion. He drew warriors from each successor chapter, and from their shared blood he raised the Imperial Fists anew. The truth of their extinction was buried, known only to a few. Thane led the attack, the final attack on Olenor. The beast was slain in victory. He cast aside watchful duty over Terra, and took the phalanx to crusade across the stars in mankind's name. Soon after the High Lords were slain, cut down by Draken Vanach of the Officio Assassinorum. Thane, burdened with command and bitter from betrayal, allowed Vanach to rule, while he hunted the last of the beast's filth across the Imperium. A century passed. Vangorich descended into madness. Thane returned with 400 Space Marines from the Fists, Halo Brethren, and Sable Swords. He brought judgment. The traitor was slain. Only Thane survived the final purge. He bore the burden forward, and crush the rebellions that followed in the silence and fire.
Yeah. So I feel like the main incidents that involve Imperial Fists always involve the Sol system, and probably Terra specifically. First Terra gets invaded by this huge orc wog. There's giant moon-sized orc warships like popping up in front of Terra and stuff. Pretty cool, just teleporting in. So yeah, there's defense there, and then also the other part is they have to always kind of retake Terra. They go away and they do something, and they have to kind of come back. Where if they're not constantly watching Terra, bad things kind of happen. It seems.
I mean, on top of that, it just kind of seems like they're consistently getting wiped out.
Yeah.
Like in the Siege of Terra, they all died. In this one, they all died. They don't even exist anymore. They're all off brand.
Yeah, well, they like it though. That sacrifice, that's how they got off every last one of them. Every last one's doing the last stand. Yes.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my
And
mouth. It's like if you know anything about Hell's Reach, Last Stand, anything with Crimson Fist, and Rin's World, Last Stand.
They love a good last stand.
They love a good Last Stand.
That's how they have so much gene seed.
It's so gooey and good.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So warm. Fresh.
I remember when the last wall protocol came out. I hadn't read any of it or any paragraphs, any excerpts. I just kind of read fucking quick review online, and I didn't really like this last wall protocol where they destroyed the chapter and rebuilt it with a bunch of their second founding. But honestly, it's fine. The more I read it, it's kind of cooler, and the more I read about the second founding and how each one of those chapters is like a portion of Dorn's personality. Even the excoriators are like kind of self-flagellating, which is that kind of self-critical aspect of Dorn. They sent all them to that chapter. So then to kind of rebuild them all up, it's almost nice. It's almost it's satisfying, to bring all the brothers back together.
Yeah, they stopped segregating and they like made everybody into one congealed pile of garbage.
Yeah.
They all took all their worst aspects and brought them together. And made it into one big banana rotting on the inside.
No, they're good. They're perfect.
Hey, overripe bananas make the best banana bread. Just saying.
This is a fact. This is
You know
a
what?
fact.
Touche. And by the end of this, we will all be banana bread.
As we all are in the Imperium of Jax.
The holy
Thus
banana
says
bread.
the last wall is the coolest thing since Dorn invented fortifying waffles. And yeah, after hearing kind of Dorn came up with the plan and like just learning more details of how it happened, like I kind of thought the chapter was wiped out, and then the second foundings were like, well, I guess we have some guys, here you go. But like, yeah, it's there's a little more to it. So I like what they've done with it now. It's a really cool kind of aspect.
Yeah, it adds more validity to it being like something the Primarchs came up with. Like even not just Dorn, but like probably what's his the head of the bad guy. What's his name? No. The brother that hates Dorn because he's better.
Perturabo.
Yeah, Purdy Robert. Yeah. He probably has the exact same protocol, like in his own way, where it's like, I need to rebuild, summon all the demons.
Sure. Yeah. I wonder if Ultramarines. Maybe they have some, but they just don't see them as connected, the Ultramarines. But yeah, definitely like the Dark Angels, the Blood Angels, they kind of had those ties. But let's move on to the Age of Apostasy, another time where Holy Terra itself is under threat. In the waning years of the Age of Apostasy, the Imperium found itself on the edge of annihilation, caught in the grasp of heresy. Goj Vandire, the self-proclaimed ecclesiarch, sought to seize absolute power, turning the ecclesiarchal palace on Terra into the heart of his bid for dominion. His reign was a blight upon the Imperium, his ambition a poison that threatened to choke the life from mankind's fragile hope. It was then that the Imperial Fists, under the unyielding command of Chapter Master Lazarin, answered the call to purge the rot festering within the heart of the Imperium. Joined by the Black Templars, bound by a common hatred of the heretics' tyranny, they marched alongside the Soul Drinkers, the Firehawks, and the venerated forces of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Together they were a grim tide, resolute and unbreakable, one that would not be stopped. They came for Terra. They came for the Emperor's throne. The assault upon the ecclesiarchal palace was brutal and relentless. The heretics had sworn fealty to Vandyre, met their doom in the shadow of the Imperial Fists' unrelenting assault. Each strike was made with quiet, unwavering determination. Each blow served as a reminder that the Emperor's will could never be undone by the forces of chaos and deceit. So just a little time frame for this one. Like, this is deep into the age of apostasy after, Gorge Vandyre's already kind of rallied his little sector, got all his power after he's already created the Sisters of Battle, his kind of version of them at the time. And this is when he was on Terra, like fully in power. So at some point they're like, okay, we got to do something about this. Like, this is no longer good what's happening. This kind of religious fanatic who is also a heretic, let's all be honest, the Imperial Fists are thinking. So they go laid siege to their own fortifications.
It's kind of wild. But the Custodes leaving the Imperial Palace, that's a, like, Indomitus Crusade time frame. Do they stick strictly to the Imperial Palace, or do they wander about, or do they work around like all of Terra as well?
Yeah, like, so for the longest time, they never left the Imperial Palace. The Ecclesiarchal Palace and, like, a lot of other places on Terra, you'd still have to kind of take back.
Okay.
But
because like what Jack's Carnage was mentioning before, like in what you were mentioning with the Fist basically being associated with like all the campaigns around the Soul system, like in Terra. So like, where are the Custodes fit in all of this? Was this like that time period where they were still just staying in the palace, or was this? So
yeah,
that was where my line of thinking was coming from.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Fists. Like, they very recently in the setting have come out from Terra. For the longest time, they're just like locked up. They thought the best way to serve the Emperor was to remain there. So, but the doors have been opened and they have been set free. The Black Templars, unbending in their fanatical devotion, tore through the heretic defenses with the fury of a storm, their zeal matched only by the weight of their blade. They carved a path through the ecclesiarchal palace, ensuring none would stand in their way. The Soul Drinkers, ever a paradox of devotion and ambition, fought with cold precision, their strikes echoing through the halls of the palace like the toll of a death knell. And the Firehawks, relentless as they were, brought the wrath to bear, immolating all that dare oppose them with unyielding fire. The Adeptus Mechanicus, ever the masters of war machines, deployed their formidable engines of destruction, cracking open the palace's ancient defenses and ensuring no retreat would be allowed to the heretics. Their war machines, their servitors, and their relentless march through the palace was a testament to their unwavering purpose. At the forefront, Chapter Master Lazarus of the Imperial Fists stood absolute, unwavering in his command. He was a wall of stone against the torrents of chaos, every move calculated, every order decisive. His gaze, cold and unflinching, saw through the haze of battle, and his will was as absolute as the fortress walls of the Imperial Fist's own chapter. No surrender would be accepted, no mercy would be given. By the time the assault reached its zenith, Vandyre's reign was shattered. His forces were crushed, the palace was overrun, and his role was reduced to nothing more than the ashen wind. The forces of the Imperium had shown once again that no heresy, no matter how deep its roots, could ever break the steadfast resolve of a heavy flamer. No, of the Emperor's chosen. The cost of victory was not lost on them. The battle was brutal, and the toll of the warriors who fought was heavy. But the Imperial Fists, as ever, stood unwavering, as an unbroken shield in the face of overwhelming darkness. The ecclesiarchal palace had been reclaimed, and the Imperium for a time was safe from the clutches of treachery. In the aftermath, however, the memory of the grim war would linger, a reminder that the Imperium always was on the brink of ruin. And yet, it was the Imperial Fists, those stalwart defenders of Rogal Dorn, who stood firm, unyielding against whatever darkness would come next. The sacrifice of those who fought here would never be forgotten, for the resolve had once again saved the Imperium from the abyss. Heck yeah. It's cool how they just kind of come in. they can assault or siege just as well as they defend, and yeah, they just come in and sweep this place. Like, I read a quote about how they don't count the tally of the dead until after the battle. Like, you got to do what you got to do until then, and at the end, you're like, oh well.
I feel like at least some of them, from what I've read, have like this weird, or not weird, but like this attachment to their defensive lines and stuff. So like imagining defensive lines that were built by Rogal Dorn would probably have like some sort of standing to them as well, like the moral aspect of having to break down a wall that like your gene father, so on and so forth, defended as well, is like kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Like good thing all the originals are dead.
Yeah. No one missed with your bolter shots. Every missed shot is a push-up. Yeah. If you face any statues, that's no good.
We'll shoot
that
you
was
later.
gold-plated. We'll shoot you later. Yeah. The pain glove exists for a reason. Always remember that.
Yeah.
Pain glove, what is thy wisdom?
Fuck.
There's got to be skid marks on that thing.
Okay. Sure, I can't argue with you.
You told me last night that it's a full body suit. There's no way they're handling all of that perfectly without any kind of like.
Yeah, you're telling me they're not clinching a little too hard and shitting themselves.
Yeah, like
once?
Come on. Yeah, like even you gotta let out a twinkle every now and then. Dorn was in there for 8 days.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
It's so funny. Spaghetti Sethoff asks, can Space Marines regrow their teeth? No, they can't. But their teeth are like all their bones are like super hardified. I forget which organ and what it kind of does, but all their bones are super enhanced, so it'd be harder to knock them out and break them. And then even if you do, whatever, who cares if you have a nice smile,
They probably get like the implants.
They could get implants too at the end
Yeah.
of the campaign, ultimately,
Yeah, Space Marines are still barely human. They can like heal from wounds faster, but like once you cut off a limb or something, that's gone permanently. They can't regrow it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, but
you're not a Space Marine. You're just better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Jack's Corner is a perpetual.
I
cracked the case, everybody.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah, I'm actually the original Jack's Carnage. I let him take the name when I joined the server. He said he thought it was cool.
Body double. Very nice.
Looks like we needed to swap the roles here. We've been dissing the wrong one.
Yeah.
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 So from the Age of Apostasy, we have the 13th Black Crusade. At least 5 Imperial Fist companies stand firm against the 13th Black Crusade, their stoic resolve unyielding as they clash with Traitor Astartes on Cadia. The first, second, and elements of the third companies hold key strategic positions, unwavering in their duty. The second company, through indomitable discipline, earns battle honors after crushing a horde of 10,000 mutants with brutal precision. 999.
Yes. I like to do the number calculation. Like even if the whole chapter is there, but it said the first, second, and elements of the third. So maybe you have, let's say, 250 Marines, and they killed 10,000 mutants.
I mean, this is this is like a 300 reference here, so I like it.
Oh my god, it was 3. Oh wow. All right.
Mm-hmm. Except I think the number's like even more stupid inflated with 300. So for once, this is GW showing some restraint. Really?
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, I mean, they only crushed 10,000. I'm sure they like that's with the brutal precision. The rest of it was brutal, not precision.
Fair point.
Yeah, and that was another 100,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, I like Jax's math here.
Thank you for
999
my true name.
In 999 M41, the Battle of the Phalanx, the third company, resolute and unbroken, defends the mighty Phalanx from a demonic boarding assault led by Iron Warriors, Warsmith Shantu, not Hansu, that diabolical person.
Sycophant.
For further clarification on Hansu, please listen to our Iron Warriors episode about the Demonculaba. Be prepared to have brain bleach whenever you do listen. Anyways, these traitors sought... Oh, sorry, I missed something. Iron Warriors Warsmith Shantu and the Demon Bellicor. These traitors sought to desecrate the ship and turn it into a weapon to bombard the Imperial Palace. Captain Tor Garadon commands the defense, his forces inflicting catastrophic losses on the attackers. The Phalanx is maneuvered into the warp, a final measure to shield Terra should the worst occur. As the battle reaches its darkest hour, the Legion of the Damned arrives to reinforce Garadon's position. Through unyielding strength, the Imperial Fists repel the demonic assault, and the Phalanx, scarred but victorious, sets course for Cadia. Just like further proof of like how awesome the Phalanx actually is when you think about it.
Fuck yeah.
It's like one of the most heavily defended positions in the Imperium other than Terra and Mars.
Yeah. And it's mobile too, so that's fucking sweet. Because it was
better.
over at Cadia, and then boop over at Terra too in this campaign. Like fucking cool.
And it moves at the same speed as all the other ships too, even though it's like bigger and better and all that.
Yeah.
Imagine just like the Death Star just popping out of warp space. Basically, that's what you're looking at.
Imagine seeing it in orbit, and you're just like you're on Cadia, and you're like some random like chaos marine who hasn't seen the yellow boys in a few years, and they just
yeah. You're like literally you can look up and you can see a cannon. It's so big. You're like, that cannon must be a mile long. Like what the it's fucked.
Yeah, dude.
I could see it from orbit.
Yeah. We haven't done a Legion of the Damned episode, but this side will remember to pull up as a factor in my conspiracy theory of who the Legion of the Damned actually is.
Kevin Spacey.
It is. You guessed it. I don't know how the fuck you did.
Yeah.
Spoilers, though. Come on.
I'm sorry. I saw the notes.
The Legion of the Damned, they're this cool chapter where we don't know anything about them. They just appear out of the warp on battles that seem to be lost. And then they're like partially on flame. Like they have this almost ethereal aspect to them. And then they disappear at the end of the battle. Like nothing ever happened, leaving you surrounded by corpses, but a victor at least. So
I was gonna say, but they help the Imperium, right? So
yeah, so it's a good thing. Like, and they don't kill Imperial soldiers or anything. Yeah, they help. They help win the wars, and they show up on the Phalanx. And I think here's the conspiracy. Dun 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 dun. The Legion of the Damned is actually the Firehawks. There's a story of a Firehawks member who joins the Death Watch, and he gets allowed permission to join the secret chamber. And in this secret chamber, he goes inside of it, and then he disappears. People assume he gets sucked into the warp, but people think that this device like sucked him and his chapter into the warp somehow and turned him into these like beasts, or these almost like demon Astartes, these warp Astartes. But just even knowing that the Firehawks are an Imperial Fist successor, which I didn't know until this episode, yeah, maybe they would come save the Phalanx specifically. Like they're like, well, that's our successor. Like we're not fully demon. But that's my thoughts on them.
That's better than a conspiracy theory I heard. So
yeah, that sounded like it was throwing shade at my Kevin Spacey theory, but
no, completely not that one.
Okay, because that one was good.
Even your conspiracy theory makes more sense than the one I heard. So
yeah,
wow,
what'd you hear?
Yeah, now I'm really curious.
We'll cover it when we get to the Iron Hands episode. Dun dun dun.
Okay. Wow. All right. I mean, it could also just be regular Imperial Fists, though, right? Because they all, like the originals, they all died. Like that's got to do something to a main chapter if your entire main chapter dies.
Yeah, but there's no like tie point where I think the other tie point with the Firehawks is they were having some like self-combustion issues as well. Ooh. Like I wish I remembered that story better. But just off the top of my head, that relic that he found, like they give a lot more detail of why it would have taken that. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to you. You're the lore master, so it's fine. Like whatever Your word
No,
is law.
Mark Sikora is the lore master. I'm just lowly Jax Carnage.
Yeah,
But I'm sure
bottom
he
of the
would say a
barrel.
similar thing.
We are all low as Jax Carnage.
Let's see. Also, 999 M41. Imperial Fist forces draw from Terra, join Reboot Gilliman in his campaign against the Thousand Suns on Luna. A detachment secures the Astronomicon and the Forbidden Fortress as Terra itself succumbs to the Chaos Tides. Chapter Master Vorn Hagen falls in battle, his death marking a grim turning point. Gregor Decian ascends to lead, and the Imperial Fists, unbroken, continue their part in Gilliman's Indomitus Crusade. 999 and 41. The Phalanx returns to Terra's orbit, guarding the Imperium's heart in Gilliman's absence. A company of Imperial Fists, led by Captain Tor Garadon, deploys to Terra, their discipline and resolve aiding the Adeptus Custodes in the wake of the sack of the Lion's Gate. Together they purge the Chaos cults, including the Splintered. Their grim duty continues as they quash the Hexarchy's coup, cutting down the conspirators and their Minotaur allies with unwavering determination. Very interesting stuff.
Bananas versus Minotaurs?
Who'da
Yeah.
thunk?
Like the Minotaurs didn't go chaos or anything, but we've mentioned how they're kind of like tied to the High Lords, and one of the High Lords kind of did a little bit of a coup, tried one, and Boot Gilliman was not a fan of it. So yeah, what a fun fight though between those two.
That's
I also
rad.
have a theory about the Minotaurs too, but I don't know if that needs to be saved for later or.
Lay it on us, because fucking why not?
Yeah, man. We already got the tinfoil hats
Fuck
on.
Sue
for the
Team
first
M.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know this Jax is going to be all for it, but I'm not so sure how this Jax is going to feel. But
Of course.
I think the Minotaurs are secret Iron Warrior successors, but the High Lords don't want you to know that.
Why?
Because if you think about how the Minotaurs conduct themselves during war, they are absolutely brutal, savage. They fight at full chapter strength no matter what the campaign is. And it's all about sieging and busting and breaking down every defense. And then, of course, they fight Imperial Fists and during this coup in the Indomitus Crusade.
Okay. Okay. Upper Jacks, how do you feel?
I think that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds rad. However, I heard that the Minotaurs were taller than the average Space Marine, but shorter than the average custode. So I was more so along the lines of like any custode, because obviously there's a height requirement, and they shuttle you off to like Shitsville if you don't hit it.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
felt as if that any custode that wasn't big and bad enough to be a custode got sent down to the Minotaurs and was given basically like the penal unit version of like custody work,
That's funny.
where it's like we
Yeah.
send you off to go do your thing.
Yeah, like we know what happens to Astartes that don't like that are tried to recruit. They get some gene seed maybe, and maybe they don't make it, and they survive. Sometimes they become chapter serfs. Sometimes they become like chapter auxiliary. Sometimes they just get servitized. But yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Sorry. I am Jax Carnage, but Jax Carnage's theory is better, I think.
You know, one of us is the better Jax Carnage, and that's all it is.
Reject Custodes are the Minotaurs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, just to add real quick, anybody who doesn't understand this Jax Carnage reference that's going on, maybe you need to be in the Discord server, because it would explain everything.
It would. You
It would.
understand why we've all stolen this poor soul's identity.
It's tax evasion.
It's tax evasion.
Yeah.
Just because
like
of the
the
whole
fun kind.
just because of the whole identity theft thing, I got to include this bit. Identity theft is not a joke, Chim. Michael.
Michael. Classic.
Maybe the real identity theft was the friends we made along the way.
Maybe. I'm starting to think it really was.
Yeah. But, you know, one thing about conspiracy theories is, get ready for this segue, Era Indomitus. Since the
Okay, you're bad at those, hey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm better with like the Nurgle puns because I can talk about
Yeah.
trash, such as the opening of the Great Rift. Huh?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there we go. There, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
When it has
all.
to be any type of quality and caliber, yeah, it can't be done
Yeah,
then for you. Okay,
yeah, of course, of course.
that's fine.
But on the topic of the opening of the Great Rift, and the renewed onslaught of chaos against the Imperium, the Sons of Dorn have not faltered.
Lipicol says, "You're so bad at segues, it's comical." Yeah, and like I don't know if he's trying to be bad at it too. That's the fun part. Like, are you?
If I tell you, it ruins the magic.
I think it does. Okay, keep it in. Shh.
Yeah. Don't tell your secrets.
I'm the real Firebird demons in the warp,
It's true. Yes, you
as
are.
well as Jack's Carnage. viewing the Imperium as a fortress with its countless worlds as its ramparts and bastions, the Imperial Fists have relentlessly held the line. They have launched harsh counter-offensives and formed unyielding defensive positions, driving back the enemy and reclaiming lost worlds with the grim efficiency that defines their chapter. The Phalanx, ever steadfast, looms above the throne world, leaving only when duty calls, yet always returning to resume its vigilant watch over the segmentum solar, such as the ceaseless and sacred duty of the Sentinels of Terra. And another quote from our favorite captain, Darneth Lysander.
Lay it on us.
For others, ooh,
Ooh,
great
I like
crusade,
it.
the great
going.
crusade ended long ago. For us, it will not cease until all the royals of mankind are united once more, and the Emperor's golden age returns.
Goodness gracious. Yes.
Yay!
Darna.
Dardath. I can't believe he said that and not me at all.
Yeah, fuck. Man, it's cool being a big time 40K podcast. So you can get those real voice cameos and stuff. You can interview GW people. You can get all type. You can move mountains. It appears.
Yeah, and if you do have any complaints about the accent, you can email Captain Darnath at captaindarnath@yahoo.com.
Yeah. He will respond.
And they will be forwarded to James' complaints very shortly after.
At some point.
It's been a minute since I've checked there, and I don't know if James has been up to date. I should dive in there and just see what kind of hate it's lingering.
If anyone wants James to come back, send pretty good harassment and he'll do it. You know, threaten a break or something.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
completely slam the inbox with nothing but complaints, so he'll have to come back and listen.
Exactly.
We miss you, James.
We'll dive into that's my segue. I just say we'll dive into it. And then when I write like episode descriptions, I say, "Oh, and we'll dive into this episode." So,
but like that's your. I can't take that from you. You know, I have to do my own bit. My own bit is horrible segues that don't make any sense or no segues at all.
I like it. It's a style, and it's not a good one, but it's yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's my own form of self-flagellation as it goes with this episode.
Nice.
I heard the most fucking hardcore fact. Apparently, when the Pope dies, you take a silver hammer and you hit the Pope in the face 3 times. Now, I'm sure it's ceremonial and they're not full on baseball batting the dude in the face, but maybe back in the day they were.
I would. If it was my job, I'd send it. They also smashed the ring that he has, so that way you can't use his popely stamp anymore. They got to get a new Pope stamp.
Okay. In the mountain of Mount Doom, the ring was forged, and only there shall it be destroyed.
Oh no!
Of the ring. Okay, yeah, that's awful.
Now I gotta go to confession for this on Sunday. Shit.
Sorry, buddy.
Maybe the real confession was the friends we made along.
Maybe. Maybe. Right. The organization, after the grievous losses suffered in the Iron Cage during the Great Scouring, The remnants of the Imperial Fists emerged tempered by war, unyielding, scarred, and resolute. In the years that followed, they embraced the structures of the Codex Astartes with the solemn duty of the warriors forged in fire. Alongside the Ultramarines, they now stand as paragons of doctrinal warfare. Each battle brother is trained to assess, decide, and act without hesitation. Their forces strike as cohesive, deliberate phalanxes, each formation delivering massed violence across multiple axes. Enemies face a storm of precision and wrath before they can even mount a defense. Since the heresy, the Imperial Fists have never abandoned their brutal expertise in siege and urban warfare, yet they do not shy away from battle in the open. Every terrain is a proving ground. They will construct bastions only when all defensive measures have failed. They do not retreat, they only endure. Their flaw, if one exists, lies in their rejection of defeat. They do not falter, even when caution might demand restraint. This rigid defiance can lead them into trials where lesser warriors would yield and survive. After the breaking of the legions, Rogal Dorn prepared for the worst. In secret, he forged a contingency, the Last Wall Protocol. It would remain hidden, a purpose grave, to summon all sons of Dorn should Terra fall or stand on the brink of ruin. Even if the chapter burned, the blood of Dorn would answer. The Last Wall Protocol would not be spoken again until its 32nd millennia during the bleak horror that was the War of the Beast. Do you guys remember the last episode? There was a line there that I said about the difference between how Reboot Gilliman and Rogal Dorn approached the Codex. Where basically, like, Rogal Dorn would ignore the caution of the Codex, but would follow it, and Reboot Gilliman. Maybe I got to find it while we read the next section because it's pretty cool his kind of stance on the Codex.
It's kind of.
Oh, sorry.
It's kind of a. Sorry, I was just reading the comments and. Anyways, we'll go on. We'll go over that. No, I actually. Dang, I lost my train of thought. I've been so derailed tonight. What is going on? I find it very interesting. I find it very interesting that each of the Primarchs kind of has their own contingency plan for, like, if things really get screwed up. Like Dorn has the Last Wall Protocol. Vulcan has like that kill switch if the Emperor dies or is taken off the throne. Well, the Grey Knights don't have their own Primarch, but they have like their final decree or whatever. If Terra,
they're sore losers,
Terra
man.
falls.
You know. All the boys are playing together, and then Horus all of a sudden throws a tantrum, and then none of them know how to deal with it. And now all of them develop like ultimatums and kill switches.
Yeah,
they just are sore losers. Is all.
Just kind of funny players. Like that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
all it is.
I found that quote. Where Gilliman cautions or Wow. Okay. Where Gilliman counsels caution, the Fists advance. Where the Codex advises retreat, they endure. Their flaws and virtues are one and the same. So yeah, that's a fun one where it's like, yeah, the Codex says we should probably leave, but also that's kind of just a challenge from a stupid book now.
I mean,
we're gonna stay.
I mean, it makes sense though, right? Like, no offense, but Robo Girly Man is a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a Xeno sympathizer at the very least.
He has that weird Eldari woman that he's way too close to.
The weird Eldari, that's being generous. You're talking about like a hellish harlot.
Yeah, the filthy knife here.
Hellish harlot. Thoughtless thought.
They don't belong in my universe.
Oh man.
Speaking of a
long liver. Continue.
Speaking of
Listen, if you say it with enough of the southern twang, anything is funny.
Well, I do declare, Jax, I can very well speak with a really good southern twang if you really want me to.
No, that's more sexy. You went sexy with that one.
Yeah. Sexy southern lawyer. What I do say. Now tell me how you're gonna fight Barry B. Benson in court.
I couldn't. I'd be distracted. He better not have nice eyes because I'm gonna get lost.
I could not. I don't think I could win that court case. If a bee came up to me, I'd swat at it. Like a filthy Eldar. If an Eldar came up, sorry.
Now let me tell you something here, boy, and I'll talk about them stinky pointy-head Eldar. There we go. Is that a southern accent you're wanting?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like deep fried Eldar accent where you cook and eat them deep fried style.
The Louisiana.
Oh, you're talking about a Cajun accent. I can do that too for you, man. But now we're
that
gonna be talking about shit.
That was more.
That was no good.
Yeah, you got to do it again. But now you got to read this entire next part.
Yeah.
In a Louisiana accent.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck, man? We're talking about the court.
In accordance, man. With the Adeptus Astartes, man.
Oh my god.
Well, go on. You started.
Just because you.
That's nice.
Okay. Speaking of really shitty books, the Codex Astartes. In accordance with the Codex Astartes, the Imperial Fists are divided into 10 companies, each composed of 100 Space Marines. Each company is commanded by a captain, warrior, leader, and custodian of a vital element of chapter operations. Their responsibility extends beyond the battlefield, binding them to the function and survival of the chapter as a whole. The following order of battle reflects the strength and structure of the Imperial Fists as they stood before the Mural Second Crusade in the final days before the arrival of the Primaris reinforcements during the era Indomitus.
I still can't get over the accent.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like come back from it.
Just trying to. Yeah, Jack. Now your face getting all blurry there, man.
Yeah, my camera's crying from how funny you are. I can't fix it. How are you supposed to fix it when it breaks like this?
Let's turn it on and off again, I guess. I don't fucking
You're
know.
right. Hold on.
What is that picture?
It's Obama at the beach.
Oh yeah, okay.
I forgot.
It's a shirtless black guy as the avatar.
I forgot. No, it is Obama. If I need to turn it off again, I can. But it is Obama at the beach. I forgot I did that.
You're a weird dude, Jax Carnage. You're a weird dude.
Hey man, listen. Obama looks great for his age right now. He's doing great. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. And you know,
that fucking segue. You know what? He's like the fifth company.
No, hold on. I got one. And you know, Obama was the first black president. And on the topic of firsts, the first company, known as the Emperor's Shield, stands as the
No, bad segues.
Hey, yo, what the fuck, man?
That's a good accent for Obama conversations, I think. So the first company, known as the Emperor's Shield, stands as the chapter's most battle-hardened. Its ranks filled with Terminators under the leadership of the Scottish Darneth-Lysander. However, they have adapted, embracing a more nimble and tactical form of warfare. The first also serves as the guardians of the chapter's relics aboard the Phalanx. Veteran sergeants, having earned the sacred duty, often abandon their names in favor of those tied to their greatest victories in the dueling arenas. If they leave this duty, they leave the name behind, for it is bound to the Phalanx. The second that is actually like insane. So like, I want to go. I need to go and fight this war on another planet. Time to take my old name back. Good thing I definitely remember what it is.
Yeah. They like their different names and stuff. I wonder like how many different names they've kind of acquired. Like what's the most? But maybe it's more like a nickname almost. Kind of even a title name.
But then again, like I feel like a nickname like that when you're sitting there guarding a relic, it like kills your real name. That like the nickname becomes your name,
Yeah,
and your real name is only spoken in myth.
Yes,
Hmm.
I'm in.
The guardian of the sacred spoon, otherwise known as Sheriff.
Jack.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
This second company, the Scions of Redemption, carries the weight of the chapter's darkest history. It was the second that nearly led the Imperial Fists to ruin during the War of the Beast. For their failure, they bear the collective guilt of their brothers, seeking redemption with every battle. Their members often subject themselves to painful rituals of atonement, adopting tactics akin to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Service in the second is not only is not dishonorable, rather, it is a noble burden to cleanse the sins of the past. Aren't the sins of the past already cleansed? They all died.
Hey, yeah.
But
Yeah,
there is this
that was
thing
like
called
8,000 years ago.
Well, there is this thing called the sins of the father. So.
Passed down onto
Well,
the gene sins of the son.
Mm-hmm.
Astartes, yes.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can respect that, and
Yeah.
they owe
That
us
was in
reparations. I get it.
Deuteronomy, I think, that verse.
Deuteronomy.
It's just a jerk joke. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, leave the middle Jack's Carnage out. I get it.
All the OG Christians know.
Yeah, all us real lokes. The third company, the Sentinels of Terra, are a legendary force known for their unmatched tenacity. Despite devastating losses in the final years of the 41st millennium, they have risen again, such as Jesus on this Easter weekend that we had. In patrine untamanos.
Amen.
Unusually flexible for Imperial Fists, they adopt a more aggressive, attrition-based approach. The third is a company reinforced more than any other, with transfers from the reserve company being a common right. New recruits must spar with the sergeant to prove their mettle. And the third carries an undying hatred for the Iron Warriors and their warsmith, Shan Tu, for the suffering they caused.
Cool. A little more aggressive, a little more casualty attrition based guys. Kind of fun.
They love the war, they love the yellow, and they sting like bees. They are the Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Bees?
Well, bees? that is a bee noise. Eh! So because everyone agreed with my Iron Mike Tyson reference. Anyway,
Everyone agrees.
everyone knows the truth. Everyone knows. The fourth company, once called the Reductors, I almost read Redditors, has since earned the title.
Shit. They will be my army of Redditors, so retarded they shall be.
And they shall tilt the hat of the sacred fedora.
Forged in the fires of autism they are.
Yes, indubitably.
Redditors.
Has since earned the title Victors of Brax. After a famed victory, the fourth is not known for speed, but for their unrelenting force as siege breakers. They deploy overwhelming mass, breaking through enemy lines with cold, relentless precision.
Now that's my fisting style. Without a doubt, of all the ones we've read, that's the way I like to fist for the Emperor.
Hard and slow.
Hard and slow.
But you get every corner.
Overwhelming mass, but I get every corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for clarification is all, in case anyone was curious how I roll.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm more of like a first company fister.
You like to have some relics involved, some stuff like that.
Yeah, so I like toys. Yeah, I like toys.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you,
Gotta come
sir.
in with
May I
the
have
equipment.
another?
Yikes.
This is a good podcast. Good thing we're all Jacks here, so that way we all
Yeah.
worship Slanesh.
Yeah, good thing we're all
Mhm.
Jacks here.
I blame this on Jax.
Yeah, none of
This
your
is all
characters
Jax's
actually
fault.
want to
This
be
wouldn't
a
have
Yeah,
happened
it's
to
all
Jax.
Jax's fault. Yeah.
Fuck
Good,
that.
good.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. What's up with Jax? Am I right, fellow Jaxes? Anyways, the fifth company, the Heralds of Truth, serves as the custodian of this scriptum ascenda, the chapter's sacred archive. Only the fifth and a select few from the Librarius and Reclusium have access to to this repository. The captain of the fifth holds significant influence on the chapter council. In battle, they march with grim procession, carrying relics and banners from the Legion's earliest days. Their sacred duty extends to educating the liberated in the chapter's history and purpose.
Cool. I've always liked visually the fifth company because they got the black shoulder pauldron rims or whatever. So then you got the yellow with the black. It ties in very nice.
I think they're all really cool. I like the fact that they definitely are like the biggest. Like aside from the second, they're the biggest flagellators.
Yeah.
Like I could see them like marching and doing the prayers in the street as they whip themselves.
Yeah, okay. For sure.
Is there only one pain glove, or is it like a mass-produced item?
I like to think it's shared for sure. Chapter wide one shared pain glove. And laundry day for that thing's only once a month, so yeah.
Hence the skid marks.
Yeah, no, it's part of the endurance factor. Like if you can actually even just get it, we don't even have to turn that thing on. It's fucking gross to be in there.
Yeah. But some people are into it, man. You know,
Some people.
You know, us bananas.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah.
Banana
The
float.
sixth
Hey.
and the seventh company. The sixth company, the Siege Hammers, are experts in the art of siege warfare. Formed by Rogal Dorn from veterans of the Iron Carriage, the sixth instills siege knowledge into every battle brother. Those who remain within the sixth become specialists, often aiding other companies. Their tactics are supplemented by heavy weaponry from the chapter's armory, including thunderfire cannons, dreadnoughts, and artillery tanks. I like artillery tanks manned by Astartes. Christian was giving me shit the other day for having like, oh, it's such a waste of an Astartes just manning that shell. But I feel like fuck you, Christian. It's fucking cool. I want artillery shell Astartes ultimately.
Yeah.
Artillery is awesome. Big guns go burr.
They can ultimately. We know the Imperium likes to man or load shells through manpower. We know we've all played Space Marine 1 where you have to like load that massive shell and you're pushing it around this fucking chapter fortress or whatever. We've all heard on the ships you have 100 guys loading one battle cannon on that ship. So I think
Yeah.
I think
It's
why
rad.
not? You have a bunch of Astartes loading shells. Fuck yeah, they can load bigger shells. They can stand the concussion force of it.
Yeah, they don't need all that autoloader nonsense. You need less dudes manning it because you have like one Astartes. And we have plenty of Astartes. Like, not all of them are listed, especially due to tax reasons.
Especially due to tax reasons. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's this weird game that they play where it's like, yeah, we max out, we have 1,000 guys, but then they also like don't tell about 500 guys that they have. It's fun.
Yeah, because somehow everybody's always making second class citizen, the second born or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I mean, I am of the belief that the 1,000 is strictly just battle brothers. So when you factor in all the officers, all the auxiliaries, all the specialists, that's fine. Maybe an odd rounding error every now and then, just so the blueberries don't get their panties in a wad. But
just call it closer to 2,000, let's say.
Yeah, but the blueberries don't even like they don't follow that either. I've seen 1 million blueberries get wiped out and 1 million more show up. It's
He's pissed. Jax is pissed.
Jax is angry, man. Jax is referring to himself in the third person for the rest of the night.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The 7th Company, the Guardians of the Phalanx, are entrusted with the sacred duty of protecting the chapter's flagship. The captain's heart is removed upon assuming the command, replaced with an augmentative device crafted from the phalanx itself.
Ooh,
A
man.
constant reminder of the solemn duty. Oh my god. The 7th also oversees the Auric Auxiliary, the primary defense force of the phalanx, using land speeders, repulsors, and land raiders for a more flexible approach, yet employing tactics similar to the 6th when needed. We talked on the last episode the phalanx warders and if they still exist in 40k, and I assume that they did, but I don't think so anymore. I think the 7th is in charge of the phalanx and all that, and it sounds like they have auxiliary that also protects it too. So
Yeah, so that's just so they take a part of the phalanx and they make a heart out of it, and they're just like, "Yup, that works." For
yeah,
no
they're
reason.
like, iron pipe hanging from the wall. Steam shoots out of it, classic iron pipe situation, and they just forge a heart out of it.
Yeah, like, hey, look, it's already cauterized. Yeah, like
Perfect.
Jack's Carnage really does enjoy that idea.
I am Jack's Carnage also enjoys this idea.
Yes,
But the
But here's
real
the thing.
Jack's Carnage also does.
Well, here's the thing. Astartes have two hearts. So will both of them be replaced or just one?
I feel
Half
like just
of each.
half of each,
Yeah.
but it's the wrong side of each too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
only like
Oh no.
the right side of
Aw.
each.
Yeah.
That's why captains don't last that long in the 7th Company. They have
Yeah.
heart failure.
About 8 hours they typically last. The turnaround is quicker than the 15 hours guard number.
Yeah, common guard W. As Jack's Carnage, I gotta let it be known. Guard are my favorite. Hate
Do you
the
have a
Tau
specific
too,
regiment?
as Jack's Carnage. Yeah, Deathcore. Of course, Deathcore. They're the best.
Sure,
Name one failing with the Deathcore. I'll wait. I'm not gonna wait long enough for you to actually name one.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Did you just segue me into reading the 8th Company? Is that what happened? I'm not gonna wait.
I'm not gonna wait. It's time for the 8th. And
The
that
8th
kind of
Company,
rhymes.
Gord's Housecarls, found its identity after the War of the Beast. Under the leadership of Helbrand Aldrich, former Black Templar shaped the 8th into a force focused on close assault tactics. After Aldrich's return, it became tradition that the new recruits undergo a trial to purge aggression before joining the 8th. The company is now renowned for its brutal, close support tactics. Cool lineage.
That is rad.
I like to think too that maybe, just fucking maybe, these guys got that similar appearance to the 30k Templars, where they got the Imperial Fist yellow with a little bit of black in there, Templar black and white, and yeah.
They probably are the closest since they have like that Black Templar founding as well.
Yeah, maybe there's just that little bit, just enough that I can go beat off later to it.
Yeah, like these bananas are just rotten enough.
Just brown enough that we can
Just
make some
brown enough
banana
for
bread.
banana bread.
All right, the
Yeah.
9th Company, the Wardens, is the seniors reserve company, guarding every battle brother in the art of siege breaking, grounding. Okay, interesting. The 9th often serves as the core strike force, obliterating enemy defenses from fortified positions with unrelenting patience. Known for its close cooperation with the 6th, under Captain Carrion, the 9th maintains strict discipline and is often seen using the 1 chapter pain glove. Yeah.
They're the skid markers.
They are fucking skidders. And the final company, the 10th, the Eyes of Dorn, the chapter's vanguard and reconnaissance force. They act as the eyes and ears of the Fist, but their warriors are often young neophytes, untested and lacking access to the heavier weapons of the armory. When deployed alongside companies, they serve as outriders on bikes and land speeders. Their role vital, but often their burdens light. They must earn their place among the true strength of the chapter. Cool, yeah. I like that we have all these different companies. You can really fucking go after it. And then, yeah, you change the rim color, and now you kind of got a very unique Imperial Fist kind of vibe to it.
I mean, even then, they have Imperial Fists for every form of combat. I mean, you have the artillery, you have the big heavy, you have the the relics, you got mechanized,
Some angry close combat guys. Yeah.
some not angry close combat guys who go out of the way to not be angry.
Yeah, you get both.
You got the best of both worlds.
I think if I were to be in the company, it'd probably be the 6th or the 7th, because like I was saying earlier about artillery, big guns go burr.
Okay.
So I mean that's pretty sound argument right there. But also having a clockwork heart made from the phalanx sounds pretty rad too. So even if it does come with an 8-hour life expectancy.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it comes with like an adrenaline pump. They just like hit a button on their like index finger or something, and it's just like, now I can command at 2 times the speed.
Yes. I also like to think that there's a dead man switch on that heart, that if the phalanx blows up, so does its heart.
Well, you failed.
And you failed.
And you failed.
Oh, that was a classic. You just triggered something for me. You just woke me up like a sleeper agent.
What the ASDF
and
thing?
you failed. Oh.
Hello, welcome
Welcome.
to Imperial Fist School. And you failed.
Oh my god! I like remembered the exact bit and everything. It was standing up school. That you.
Hello, welcome to standing up school, and you failed. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Changed them. You just wrecked Jax.
Unlocked a core memory.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
really, like unironically, like you've awoken something in me. The skid mark on the pain glove has grown just from this growing.
Oh, no. Yes.
Maybe another 6 days in the pain glove for you then.
Back in you go,
No,
buddy.
I gotta share it with my brothers.
Share the skid. Share the load.
Share the load. You know who else shares load? Specialist Franks. That was oh wow.
Yeah.
I took a page. I took a
Okay.
page out of Jax Carnage's bad
Yes.
segues here.
Yeah. It's a classic.
Special ranks, Huskarls, and the era Indomitus. After the inclusion of the Primaris Space Marines in the Imperial Fists, the Huskarls were reestablished as a special elite unit within the chapter by the order of the resurrected Primarch Reboot Gilliman. However, instead of serving as an honor guard to the chapter's officers, this new incarnation of the Huskarls was tasked with leading the defense of individual worlds that were of great strategic importance to the Imperium. The Huskarls were now composed of those Imperial Fists who displayed the greatest skills and knowledge in constructing planetary defenses and were expected to be capable of organizing the defenses of an entire star system, much as Rogal Dorn had once done for the Sol system during the Horus Heresy. No more Templars, probably still Phalanx Wardens.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes before I kind of fully thought it all through. Yeah, I think the Phalanx Warders, what do you think? Gone? No more? Still around?
I mean, probably like a subgroup of them is probably still like around a little bit. I mean, I guess they could have gotten rid of all of them during the Battle of the Beast, but like there's got to be some kind of semblance, even if they're renamed.
Yeah, maybe it's like the 6. Maybe they went to the 6 for the first time, the survivors, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Housecarls are pretty cool. Just these kind of lone administration kind of siege experts that are left behind on planets to make sure things go smooth. They did this during the Great Crusade a lot, and now they're bringing it back.
Good for them.
Good for them. Fucking all right.
I find it odd that they use the term Housecarls though, because that's like a Norse kind of name. So it's like interesting that they have their own like what are the bananas supposed to be? Like what group were they inspired by?
Maybe a touch of Roman, maybe, but not as much as Ultramarines. We talked a little bit about they might have some like German ancestry.
Especially if you look at the Black Templars, a lot of them have like very German names.
Yeah.
Like Hilbrecht, Grimaldus. But like that's that side. I don't know. It's like the Fist as a whole kind of, I don't know.
maybe Prussian. I
Yeah.
like
Could
what
be.
Seth said, or like maybe like Germanic tribes.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Mhm.
again, actually, Germanic tribes did use housecarls, so that would make more sense if they
Okay.
like all together and they
Yeah,
kissed.
it just seems weird. You're right. Like they didn't call it like Praetorians or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because it's not their vibe. And another thing that's not really their vibe is like reading. So the librarians, um, as with all chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, the Imperial Fists maintain a librarium. Its halls silent because they don't read, solemn and watched. Within are psychers of formidable will, honed to wield the warp not for power but for duty. These warriors are chosen, tested and broken, to be rebuilt according to the Codex Astartes, with no deviation save for a few traditions kept in grim remembrance. The librarians of the Fist endure harsh discipline, shaped to embody restraint, control, and purpose. They are taught not to seek glory in their gift, but to bury it beneath the weight of service. Where others might delve deep into forbidden knowledge, the Fists allow no excess, only what is necessary to safeguard the Imperium. Among their kind, they possess a number of psychic rites known only to their chapter. These are not tools of wonder or awe, but weapons to be forged of war, invoked with grim finality, used only when steel and stone are not enough. I don't know why I there so much, but that is insanely cool. They just have psychers like on call, and they're just like, "Yep, time for you to psycher," and you're muted.
Yeah, they have a place on the phalanx where they just lock up these psychers. And at the beginning of the Horus Heresy, a couple notable guys got locked up in here for a couple years or something like that. And Rogal Dorn would come and check on them. I think this was after the Council of Nicaea. They locked all their psychers up like that. They didn't want them to go to war, so they just kind of sat them down in cells.
But like, how do they use them? Like, it doesn't really say what they do with them.
I got a list of some powers here. So lots of them are like courage inspiring, almost more so than like attack. I'll read some. So into the Crucible, the librarian calls upon the souls of all Imperial Fists who gave their lives at the Primarch's side during the Battle of the Iron Cage. The blows of his enemies are turned aside and healed by the incarnate force of his ancestors. Noble Praetorian. Rogal Dorn is remembered by many as the right hand of the Emperor, his most faithful Jean's son, who stood watch over him and enacted every. I'll just find the not fluff bit. The
That's
librarian channels a portion of Dorn's noble spirit into his body. The next one is Stoneblade, Stonebane. Stonebane may be used when librarian is faced with a wall, fortification, a bunker, or similar structure that he wishes to turn asunder. So he kind of just smashes objects. But a lot of them are like, yeah, the ultimate sacrifice. So he fights on longer before he gives in. The Golden Sun. He's more inspiring. Like a lot of them are kind of courage based, you know.
Okay, so it's just like oh, okay, so that's what it means when it said not of like war, but with like service.
Yeah, you know, like
There's
it'd
support
be like a
roles.
buffer class. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can respect that. That's way cooler than like not a support role.
Yeah. That's I like looking at that now. That's a great way to say it. It's that support, that buffing class, as opposed to like a DPS librarian.
Yeah, because that's what we see with like how other people use them. Like even the
Yeah,
space wolves and stuff. They're like hitters.
exactly. Yeah.
Shoot the bolt of lightning through your fingertips.
Taste the lightning.
Know the power of the dark side.
From my point of view, the dark side's the good side.
Another giant space station, much like the Death Star, is the Phalanx. Not bad on that one, hey?
Yeah,
Not,
there we
good.
go.
Not good,
We're doing
but
it.
not bad.
Yeah, no, we're all becoming worse as people, and I'm happy about it.
Each segue, we all die a little inside. Excellent.
This is the chaos that Jax Carnage is really reaping.
Thanks, Jax Carnage.
Thank you, Jax Carnage.
So we're going to focus back in on the phalanx, and we kind of are going to focus in on those areas where it pops up and kind of gets either badly damaged or saves the day. The first one is the War of the Beast. By the mid-32nd millennium, the phalanx had begun to wither, a relic of a greater age. It was forged to serve a legion, now it left to a single chapter. Too few to fully man its colossal frame. Oh, that's fucking fun to think about. They can't even man that thing proper with just one chapter. Its hangars stood hollow and silent, with ancient systems irreproducible by modern means. Even minor damage bred complications beyond easy repair. Each fault a quiet echo of forgotten mastery. During the War of the Beasts, the decision was made without sentiment. The phalanx was repositioned between Terra and Venus. Its survival deemed too vital to risk against the alien moons of war. Cool. So yeah, it's just kind of been hurt at this point. It's been on 2,000 years of kind of crusading. Needs some love.
So, what if... Oh, sorry. I'll let you go, Jax Carnage.
No. Go ahead.
So, I was thinking, though, like, you know how everybody's like, we need to kill the Emperor so that way he can be reborn healthy again and whatever. Why, like, they could do the same thing here with the phalanx, where they're like, they send it to Mars and they're like, all right, take it apart, put it back together, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we need our battleship back.
Please. It's the main character once Rogal Dorn left us.
Give it back!
I wonder if it's like the like for one of those I forget the name of the thing that the Mechanicus do, but it's just like they can't turn them off because the guy that knew how to operate them is dead, so they don't know what to do. So I'm pretty sure it's just like that with the Mechanicus. It's like if you give them the phalanx, they're not going to know what to do.
Yeah. Quite the
That's
machine.
so fair.
It's kind of like it's okay. What I was gonna get at a little bit is it's like I like 30k legions, but at the same time I don't like it because then it just comes to show how much everything degrades by the time you get to 40k. That being said, I understand that is the whole point of 40k is to show how bad things get as the Imperium just turns into a bloated carcass. But it's just like
sometimes it's nice to have nice things, you know, and not see it all
is nice
ruined.
to have nice things, and that's what I love about the 30k legions, because they have such cool shit. But then like they don't have it anymore. Or it's like it's so bad beyond repair they don't want to risk losing it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a contradiction.
Yeah, you can get rid of all the cool people. I kind of just want all the cool ships and stuff and tanks. I think they're way better. Like, you get rid of all your named characters. Give me back the Malcador and Furnace. Give me a fully repaired. Give me a fully repaired phalanx. Get rid of reboot Gaily Man.
Place him with a Baneblade.
Place him with a Baneblade. Put him in the Baneblade.
Yes.
Then give him the Emperor's sword, and then just have him drive up real close to the enemy, so he can swipe at him.
Oh, a tank with a little bayonet on it.
There we go. Charge bayonets.
Yes.
So you know what else Gilliman did? It was after the 13th Black Crusade. So we're going to talk about that first.
They're getting worse. I like it.
Yep, here we go.
The segue to a different conversation that we needed another conversation for. That's art.
It's like having to wait in line at Starbucks. You need to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee, to stand in line and wait for your coffee.
Oh, fuck, that's the worst.
I want a donut.
Where was I? I got completely derailed with this here. Phalanx, here we go. Phalanx came close to ruin during the 13th Black Crusade in circa 999 M41 at the fall of Cadia. It arrived unbidden to aid the defenders of that dying world, first enduring a demonic infestation within the warp, then facing the fury of the traitor warfleet massed in the Cadia system. As the crusade began, the Third Company of the Imperial Fists held the vessel's halls repelling a hellish boarding led by Iron Warriors Warsmith Shantu and Demon Prince Bellicor. Their ambition was blasphemous and bold, to eclipse Abaddon's conquest by capturing the Phalanx and the Sol System, corrupting it, and using its firepower to obliterate the Imperial Palace, bypassing the Cadian Gate entirely. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Captain Tor Garadon, commander of the 3rd, was entrusted with the defense. He met the enemy with fire and sacrifice, directing the Phalanx into the warp to shield Terra should they falter. As the situation deteriorated, the Legion of the Damned emerged, unbidden but not unexpected, fighting alongside Garadon's warriors. Chaos Scrap Code seized parts of the ship, forcing Garadon to turn its ancient guns inward to scour the taint. Oof, not only is it like in disrepair, but now you gotta fire upon it even more just to protect it. Bellicor then tore open a rift within the vessel. Victory for Chaos seemed assured until the spectral warriors of the Damned struck with silent fury, reversing the tide. Yet the cost was great. Nearly 10% of the Phalanx was lost. With the Legion still aboard, Garadon then led the vessel to Cadia. There it annihilated the Will of Eternity, a blackstone fortress, after space wolves under Sven Bloodhowl broke its shields. The Phalanx endured, battered but unbroken. It bore survivors of Cadia's fall back to the throne world, where it resumed its long vigil above Terra by command of the returned Reboot Gilliman, last son of the Emperor.
That's... Imagine if they actually like lost it to Chaos though. Like even if Chaos didn't use the guns, just the actual like that would be like losing your fucking Primarch all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The ship, this homeworld that you've all lived on, generations of Astartes have used it. Oof.
Idea.
Huh.
So we know how the lion woke up after Vashtor fought against the rock. What if they do lose the Phalanx, and that's what brings Rogal Dorn back?
No.
I had
Dorn.
Oh, you can go and say how Rogal
No.
Dorn's definitely dead.
No, you first.
All right, I appreciate it. I read about this flesh curse that like overtakes ships and turns them organic in the warp, and I was thinking like if those those little warp marines came out and just like infected the Phalanx on its last legs with this like organic virus, and it like healed it fully and made it alive, but for the Imperium. That would be rad, but it would also answer the question of who they are. So that would kind of ruin them, but I think that would be super cool.
A demonic Phalanx.
But like a loyalist demonic Phalanx.
Yeah.
That would be cool, especially on account of the fact that like.
I mean, if we're following the line of logic that the Legion of the Damned are Imperium demons along with Saint Celestine, it's not that much of a stretch.
Yeah.
As heretical as that sounds.
Who's to say? What's fair to say and not to say?
And then you can eat the ship instead of having to farm on it, and it'll like grow itself back.
Yes. You got to feed the ship part of itself as well.
That's
part
called
of the ship,
starvation.
part of the crew.
Wow, that's a. that's an Indominus reference. The Indomitus era. Since the 13th Crusade, Black Crusade's end, the long labor of restoring the Phalanx has continued. Each fractured deck and corrupted vault purged and reforged after the defilement wrought by Bellicor and Shantu. Amid the constant grind of gene-forged laborers and the droning of rites of the Ministorum, the Adeptus Custodes have the Adeptus Custodes have without resistance embedded watchers aboard the vessel. They move unseen among the throng, their gaze unwavering. To them, Phalanx is not a bastion. It is a weapon of terrifying potential. Should it ever be turned upon Terra, they will strike without hesitation. Loyalty is no shield from scrutiny. The custodians neither forget nor forgive the folly of trust in demigods. If Phalanx's guns have ever found the palace in their sights, protocols exist to see it destroyed before the first shell left its barrel. By the dawn of the Indominus Crusade, the vessel remained wounded, its spirit dimmed, its systems failing. In silence, the Shadow Keepers acted, opening a dark cell buried beneath the palace, releasing ancient secrets. Thus did the Sons of Dorn receive what none had before, forbidden technology, gifted not in trust but necessity. Repaired in grim silence, Phalanx now stands ready once more, its wrath sharpened as in ages past.
Boo! That kind of took a little turn there to the weird. Like, because the Phalanx wasn't built by anyone on Terra. It wasn't even built by the Mechanicum. We don't even know where it came from. It's like a relic of the dark age of technology, this thing. Like, this is around before the Imperium, this ship, by thousands of years. And then they just find secrets.
Yeah, but its secrets also hidden in the palace. Like why was it there in the first? Like, why didn't you just have it out if it could fix the entire Phalanx from the get-go?
Yeah, like you've been at Terra you've been there for 10,000 years. It just seems like this kind of they ruined the Phalanx one too many times and had to bring it back, and did it in a poor way. I think.
Yeah, they could have made it fleshy.
They could have made it fleshy. They shouldn't have, but they could have.
It would have been better than, ooh, so we found it all the parts in the basement, actually. That's all for the entire ship, perfect back to normal. Nothing gained, nothing lost, nothing won.
Now, maybe if you like, and even I don't even like this, but maybe if you're like, Reboot Gilliman helped in the reconstruction of it or something, but like, fuck, man, like even that, the Phalanx is its own beast.
I mean, that makes more sense because he was there when Dorn got it. Like, I don't know. That's but
listen, it's not a 1992 like Chevy in your dad's garage where you just have all the parts like laid out for you though. That's my problem. It doesn't make sense.
A little silly.
It's just like
it'd be more like getting in possession of like your great grandma's like original Ford Model T where like none of the parts are made anymore or something like that.
Yeah. They could have done other things. Like what if like they turned into a Space Hulk where a failed jump with a fleet and now all of a sudden you got like this Imperial Fist Space Hulk of the Phalanx and a couple of the battle cruisers or something.
Or
I mean, that would be pretty rad.
That would be rad. Or like even just even something basic where they just go, listen, we don't know how to rebuild all this, so we're just gonna do what we can and where we can, and we're just gonna figure it out. And they just do like this like shitbox bash together like whatever nonsense, all is like, and this is the new Phalanx. It's like 75% as what it was, but it's back to operational capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything like that.
Anything could have been better, I think.
I mean, it sounds like the Imperium could really use all these like Space Hulks that you find flying around because you only ever hear stories about them being like explored or abandoned to some Xenos or Chaos individuals.
No one's ever pimping that ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an odd move.
Recruitment. Well, I want recruits, not vassals. Rogal Dorn, Primarch of the Imperial Fists. Is that okay? Not as good as Gerald's, I think. Close enough.
I mean, yeah, like that's how I'll read it if you ever have any more. Yeah, that'd be rad.
Yeah, that'd be fucking rad. The Imperial Fists, born in void and blood, recruit from the harshest corners of the Imperium, Terra, Necromunda, and other war-scarred worlds. Their fortress chapels, scattered and obscure, are manned by battle-hardened veterans, ever watchful for those worthy of their Primarch's legacy. Unlike other chapters, they hold no political sway over the worlds they draw from. Their presence is silent, their selection method grim. Though trials of combat, orchestrated strife, and violent purges of hive cities, they claim little, only the right to test and claim those who have the strength to endure. Candidates are judged not by birth, but by discipline and resolve. Upon selection, aspirants face brutal trials of body and mind, their past scrutinized and their limits tested. On the phalanx, they learn the language of the Imperium and face the final ordeal, the Tunnel of Terror. I love that. I had to bring it up again. A crucible of elemental torment. They'll dip your toes in the void and see if you can hang on to them still. Those who endure are marked and made neophytes. The path to becoming an Astartes is long. Implants are surgically placed in rites such as the venom-eating Primarch and flesh-eating breeding Ophelia, solidifying their transformation. Families are told of their honor. The neophytes do not return. The Imperial Fists demand only excellence. Their path is agony and silence, and from it, only the resolute emerge as Dorn's sons. So we've talked a lot about Terra, recruiting from there, what that might look like. We've talked about Inuit and how that cold, harsh planet would make some recruits. The other main planet that they really seem to like to recruit from is Necromunda.
I find it odd that they can recruit from Terra. Like, it's supposed to be... I thought Terra was supposed to be, like, a great place. So, like, what kind of strong-willed individual is it really making?
You know, there's still slums and stuff like Terra.
Yeah. But I mean, it was more as like a nod to the Imperial Fists for being there during the Siege of Terra. So that was like, they alone are given the honor to recruit from Terra and no other chapter.
Oh, it's like an honor system.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, just like Mark was saying, the other big place that they recruit from is Necromunda, which is also the basis for the Necromunda game, which I'm told is a lot of fun. So, but you can't field Space Marines. So, anyways,
fuck that game.
Necromunda, once called Arrhenius Prime, is a hive world in the segmentum solar of the Imperium of Man. Its forges feed the endless war with arms and death. Within the towering manufactoria of its hive cities, Necromunda yields lasguns, autogons, shotguns, bolters, standard tools for the Astra Militarum's unyielding grind across a hostile galaxy. The world pays its due in flesh as well as steel. Tide levying vast regiments of Necromundan guard it also supplies vital material, all swallowed in the maw of unceasing conflict. From the bleak furnace of industry and violence, the Imperial Fists draw warriors. Recruits are taken from the pit gangs of the underhives, hardened, ruthless, already forged in struggle. Their keep stands ever watchful. Like many hive worlds, Necromunda is ruled not only by imperial law, but by the strong. Its lower levels are domains of violence, where only the ruthless endure.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, you know, you could draw from there, you can draw from wherever. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. They change their names, they give them new names. They cut them off from their kind of recruitment. It is fun, like lots of other planets or chapters, I mean, kind of have that close tie to their planets culturally, as well as obviously that's where they're taking their people from. But yeah, the Fists aren't, they don't care. I'll read that quote one more time: is I want recruits, not vassals.
Yeah. Do any other main chapters like take from, or like, are they like spacefaring, or not spacefaring, but they don't have a homeworld? They just have like
of the founding 9 loyalist legions? No, I think everyone else has their homeworld that they kind of really, you know, draw from and take that from. You know, maybe the Ultramarines are like, oh well, they have 500 worlds, and you could be a dickhead about it, but you know, same concept.
But so like, did they have a homeworld ever, or were they just like Terra, or like Holy Terra and then in the stars?
Yeah, no, they do. Like, they have Inuit, which is where Rogal Dorn was found, which is like this cold, tundra, harsh, kind of cold, miserable place.
Yeah. Oh, quick correction. The Dark Angels don't have Caliban anymore. It's just the Rock now.
It's a place, technically.
How much of a planet do you need to claim that you still have some planet.
Well, this isn't a Pluto conversation, Jack's Carnage.
Well, spoiler alert for Arcs of Omen, Vastor did kind of bring Caliban back, so
Oh, neat. You
I
can
say
collect
kind
it
of.
all.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh.
forgot. Nothing is lost and nothing is gained in the endless expanse of 40K writing.
Yeah.
So bleak.
So bleak, yet so unchanging.
So meaningless.
So they go into any world and take gene seed from, or like implant G seed in any child after cutting them off from their families. And on the topic of gene seed,
that sounds even worse when you put it that way.
You induct them into a cult.
You sit them down and you go, hey man, you can never talk to your parents again. They don't know what you're about to go through. And then you put them alone on a ship and you take them far, far away. And
your parents think you're at summer camp, little boy, but really you're in hell.
Free candy, come in the free candy phalanx.
And then it's just like that scene. It's just like, wait a minute, why am I strapped to a surgical table? Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Oh, maybe the real brothers are the children we abducted along the way.
Oh no!
Maybe.
Maybe.
No. But on the note of implanting gene seed into minors unconsensually, the Imperial Fists.
What is wrong with you?
Warhammer legal? Don't worry, sit this one out. It's just jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
In Minecraft. Oh, that was a bad one. That one's gonna have to get edited out. But anyway.
Oh, I have to cut that in post.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's all right. The Imperial Fists have a reliable and stable gene seed, yet time has taken its toll. Two of the Astartes' sacred organs, the Becher's gland, which grants the ability to secrete venomous saliva, and the sus-an membrane, which enables suspended animation, have been lost to them. Dorn's darkness. A genetic affliction known as Dorn's darkness haunts some Imperial Fists, Fist successor chapters, most notably the excoriators. When it strikes, it appears as a tremor or slackness, but the afflicted experience it as a waking nightmare, reliving the agony Dorn endured during the Emperor's mortal wounding at Terra. Victims are consumed by the deep despair and the fear that Dorn himself felt. Knowing the Imperium would fall without the Emperor, in this state, they are mute, unable to feed and disconnected from the world around them, and fully stealing from their own genre at this point. 40K can't get enough of stealing from other people, so they have to steal from themselves. I don't. All right.
That's okay,
It's
'cause
like
that's not plagiarism.
recycling shit. Like eventually, it's just all shit. Like you can only regurgitate it so many times.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
At least they're not schizophrenic; they're just sad.
But hey,
it's an
that's the
upgrade.
Lamenters thing. So they are stealing from
No,
themselves.
dang it!
Darn it!
Oh, good thing we can't have any new ideas. The
No
chapter
ideas are
sees-
original.
No. In the bleak expanse of the far future, where no ideals are original. The chapter's senior chaplain, Belshazzar, tends to these victims with a spiritual cure or a death sentence. That's so Canadian.
Wow.
It's Canadian. Oh, you're sad, veteran? Well. As the excoriators are fleet-based, afflicted Marines are placed in a stasis casket, an adamantium sarcophagus adorned with a depiction of the Emperor broken at the siege of Terra. That's the specialized treatment involves isolating the afflicted in spiritual darkness, where they face their weakness and solitude, hoping to banish the curse. you just encompass them in what made them sad in the first place.
Yeah, why not? It helps.
I mean, it sounds like exposure therapy on steroids.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
the worst exposure therapy known to man. All right, hell yeah. It remains unknown whether other Imperial Fist successor chapters suffer from the Dorn's darkness, but the excoriators bear its grim burden.
Yeah. Now this little bit was from Fantasy Flight Games, so you could take it as much canon as you want out of that. But I think it's kind of cool, you know. When Primarchs die, you get this like sad imprint. But what if a Primarch's sad for 700 years? Does that affect you in some way? Maybe. Probably. Dad's always coming home drunk. Maybe. Hard to say. Let's go into the combat doctrine next.
It just dawned on me what you said.
Simple slaughter is no foundation for lasting conquest. Once the blade's red duty is complete, the true work of conquest begins with the raising of new strongholds, leaving the Imperium stamp on its new dominion. And that was Seneschal Arthas Mero of the Imperial Fists. From the earliest days of the Imperial Fists have stood as uncompromising crusaders, unyielding and unbroken. They do not retreat, they do not hesitate, they bleed for victory. This has shaped their legacy in siegecraft, bastion construction, and the crucible of fleet warfare. None match their precision in dismantling enemy formations or raising their own, unassailable and grim. When the Emperor summoned Rogal Dorn to Terra to fortify the Imperial Palace at the end of the Great Crusade, it was no mere command, it was a recognition. Since then, the Imperial Fists have borne the titles Defenders of Terra, and the duty carries with silent pride and grim resolve. Their refusal to yield borders on fatal. There are tales, too many, of Imperial Fists who have, when withdrawal would have meant survival, even in triumph. Let me read that one again. There are tales, too many, of Imperial Fists who held when withdrawal would have meant survival. Even in triumph, their victory is often measured in blood, spent freely and without regret. Favoring precision and overwhelming firepower, they are often placed with fire support squads for extended terms, another reflection of their methodical, relentless nature. Fire support squads are like Devastators for Firstborns, or like Hellblasters, or like I'm not super familiar with the Primaris ones, but yeah, Hellblasters would be a good fire support.
Intercessors are equivalent to like your tactical squads. Devastators are like your Hellblasters, your Eliminators, your Aggressors.
Yeah, maybe Eliminators are fire support squads.
Yeah,
with their snipers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Primaris, so who cares? Firstborn Devastators, so that's fucking sweet.
Hey, Firstborn gang.
Yeah, Firstborn gang. I love fucking Imperial Fists when they're all rocking heavy bolters with the chain ammo belt and stuff. Fucking tight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
we
cool.
love.
Good thing we don't have that anymore.
No, we just got stupid fucking like ammo cartridge ones where it's like a magazine that you clip in on the bottom. Or maybe not a magazine, but
like a
whatever
drum
you
belt.
call it.
Like a drum. Yeah, it's a drum.
Yeah.
It's a type of magazine.
Oh, this is me. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is me. Okay, so siege experts, because lest we forget that the Imperial Fists love their sandcastles. Siege warfare is a crucible in which the Imperial Fists are the most at home, a brutal, grinding discipline that demands patience, precision, and unwavering resolve. They excel in both the art of tearing down enemy fortifications and the science of raising their own. No detail is too minor, no calculation spared. Every line of fire, every kill zone, every layered wall and trench is deliberate. Their mastery of void shields, reinforced bulwarks, and interlocking fields of fire makes their bastions near impossible to breach. When the Imperial Fists lay siege, they do so without haste or mercy. Every shell, every breach, every moment calculated to bring the enemy to ruin. Time itself becomes a weapon in their hands as they outlast, outgun, and outwill any foe behind stone or steel.
Yeah. At this point, I think we get the concept of how they like to fight. They like to break down your walls and then build them up better than you ever did.
They are God's builders.
They are God's builders.
To add insult to injury, they're going to tear down your walls, call you a bitch, and then they're going to build it back up better than you ever could.
Yeah, and then make you pay an imperial tithe.
We're going to rebuild the fortresses, and we're going to make the cultists pay for it.
That was really good. Yeah. We're gonna flip the cultist the bill.
Love those Imperial Fists. Love those Imperial Fists. Great builders. Great builders. They
Great
love
builders.
their sandcastles.
Then we'll build an imperial castle, 50 feet high, or 50 kilometers high.
It's gonna be gold.
It's gonna be gold. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be paid by the cultists.
It's going to be paid by the cultists. It's going to be huge.
Huge.
Emperor Trump. Future we all hope for.
Keep those illegal Tau out, as Jax Carnage said. Thank you, Jax, for the chat.
Deport the Eldar.
Make Terra great again.
Like deport them out of the galaxy, you mean, right? Like
Yeah. Deport them with a bolter shell.
back to the webway with you.
You know, honestly, I really do subscribe to those kind of beliefs. On the topic of beliefs,
No.
Rogal Dorn was lost in the years after the heresy. His legacy endures, etched into every oath, every stone, every life given without hesitation. His final... Yeah, mildly upset frog. Deport all Xenos to hell, where they belong.
Imperium, fuck yeah.
I want to see all them village Xenos in hell. Alongside Margaret Thatcher. Anyway. Too soon? His final acts were not glorious, but necessary. Sacrifices made in silence for the Imperium's survival. His sons carry that same cold clarity. They do not bend. They do not retreat. Victory is earned through endurance, often paid in blood. The siege of Terra marked them in its ashes. They rebuilt their identity, naming companies after walls and gates held, casting off former names for ones forged in trial. Slaughter, Severance, Life Taker. Dorn had chosen his defiance. They became wall brothers, guardians of what they once bled to defend. For 15 centuries they stood vigil until Ardementura. There, against the Chrome, the fists were nearly annihilated. One survived to bear the tale. Yet even in near extinction, their silence did not break. They do not seek recognition. They study the Codex with devotion. Yet where Gilman consul's caution, they endure. Others call it stubbornness. They call it duty. Oh yeah, Jax Carnage. It's like a scene of... Oh.
I meant this one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, mildly upset frog. That was way better. If Xenos didn't want to be in hell, why were they not made in the Emperor's image? Curious. I agree. As Jax Carnage, I was made in the Emperor's image, as are all sons of the Carnage. Yeah.
Cool.
But oh yeah, continue.
Oh, nothing. What are you gonna say?
Oh, great.
That's a reverse segue where you like just derail.
Yeah, I genuinely I had an idea and it's gone. I'll figure it out. You say what you were gonna say, which is probably gonna be better.
Okay. Traditions. At this point, the Fists, they pick up a new tradition as well. They still have their scrimshawing that we know and love, especially Court. He's picking up a new hobby of scrimshawing, and the pain glove. So I got two quotes here. The scrimshawing. This is a beautiful scrimshawing Imperial Fist mantra. Fists of beauty, fingers of death. Emperor's fists with death is our tryst. So fuck it, whatever that means. But the pain glove is probably better to think about. Pain is a lesson. that the universe teaches. Pain is the preserver from injury. Pain perpetuates our lives. It is healing, purifying scalpel of our souls. Pain is the wine of communion with heroes. It is quicksilver panacea for weakness, and the quintessential of the dedicated existence. Pain is a philosophic vitriol that transmute mere mortals into immortal. It is the sublime, the golden astral fire. And this is an anonymous chaplain. It's explaining the Imperial Fist neophytes, the philosophy behind the use of the pain gloves. Trying to just justify his accent. It's like, why are you fucking doing this to yourself, buddy? He's like, pain is beautiful. And yeah, not for me. Pain gloves, not for me. I love the fists, everything they do except the pain gloves. A little weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like every single time they defend it too, they always say it with a raging hard on. So
Yeah,
it's,
fuck.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
it's
you, I'm
really
up to the
weird.
pain glove. And they just storm
Yeah,
off with
yeah.
the
You want to say some shit? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say some shit in the pain glove.
Fuck. Yeah. You never
Now,
want to
boy,
walk in without knocking on the
says,
pain
hey,
glove.
you done messed up. It's time to go into the pain glove.
Pain glove time. Yeah.
It's pain glove time, boy.
Yeah, so they still have those two lovely traditions, but they've also picked up the Feast of Blades, which is another kind of not quite last wall protocol-ish, but just a way to tie chapters together, their lineage together.
They eat swords.
Yep. Yep.
The Feast of Blades is a centennial trial of endurance and martial result.
How many swords can you eat, Jimothy?
Jimothy.
Give me the longest one you got.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is the real
And like sped up version of like a hot dog eating contest, but like
oh gosh,
with swords.
paddle faster. I hear banjo music. You got pretty mouth, boy. Mind if I stick a sword in it?
Make you squeal like
pretty
a
much.
pig.
Hey, I'm squealing like a hog, I did.
I'm gonna skew you in this here store. I'm gonna make you squeal like a little piggy.
Weed. You filthy Xenos, I'm gonna pin you down, make you squeal like a pig, boy.
Oh.
See?
I can fit a whole goddamn broadsword in my gullet.
Sideways.
Sideways and ass backwards. Yeah, okay. Strange, but I love it.
The bananas that eat the most swords get to copulate.
Oh, yes. Yes. With the
Oh,
swords, of course.
Of course. If their genitals last through it, because sometimes it goes straight down and that's bad.
Ah, yeah, gravity and whatnot. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's another Saturday.
I'm sorry,
for
dear
Imperial Fist.
listeners. I don't know what the heck kind of tangent we just went on, but this
This is a Jack's Carnage tangent, right? We all worship
Yeah.
Selenesha. We all dream of eating swords.
was.
We all
Oh,
dream of it. It'll be huge. Huge.
Listen, this is what we do now. It will be huge.
It's what we
eat
do.
swords.
We're gonna go on tangents. They're gonna be beautiful, beautiful little tangents. And now we're gonna get back to the notes. The Feast of Blades is a centennial.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about them yet. We haven't even we haven't
I don't
said
even know what it
anything
is.
about- Yeah, we built this whole like idea of what it was.
And every 7 years they get together and they eat the swords.
At least we could lie to the Lorehammer viewers and not talk about it. We can just move on.
What do they fucking know?
It's okay. We'll fix this
They
all
don't
in post
read.
anyway. I bless the soul that has to soul that has to edit
Don't.
this.
They're already cursed.
Okay.
Thrice damned, even.
They will not be risen.
They shan't. Okay. I just lost my place. Here we go. The Feast of Blades is a centennial trial of endurance and martial resolve, observed by the Imperial Fist chapter and its successor brethren. Each chapter dispatches a single warrior, most often a company champion, to stand in solemn contest. The successors of Dorn differ wildly Some shaped by divergent doctrines, others forged by isolation in the void. Many are fleet based with no fixed fortress, drifting ever between wars. Centuries may pass without brothers crossing paths. Yet even stone must be reforged lest it fracture. Thus the Feast of Blades endures, a ritual assembly where each chapter selects a champion to engage in ritual combat, proving strength, discipline, and the loyalty to Dorn's legacy. The feast has endured for 8,140 standard years. That is a very specific amount. Tradition dictates it must be held at least once every 100 Terran years. Through a hosting chapter may summon the feast earlier should the need or will arise. Combat follows rigid, ancient codes, duels of ritual purity, rarely to the death, but never lacking in finality. Over many solar days, one warrior will stand above all. One will be named champion. Victory bestows grave honor. The victor and his chapter claim the Dorn's blade, an artifact of solemn import, and the right to host the next feast within a century. Rivalries carved in scar and steel often linger long beyond the feast. 12 chapters attend 12 chapters attend with regularity, though the burdens of war often thin their number. The galaxy offers no mercy, and duty takes precedence over ceremony. Rogal Dorn, in the ashes of the heresy, decreed the Feast of Blades to bind his sons scattered and scarred in brotherhood unbroken. So long as it is held, his legacy endures.
I really don't like how vague it was because it still could be a sword eating contest.
Don't worry, we get deeper. Don't worry. Just like those
Okay,
swords
good.
down the gullet, we learn more.
Yes. Oh, thank God. If they weren't eating swords, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
But
it'd be awfully fucking misleading. I'll tell you what.
yeah, it's in the name.
It's like if you had the Imperial Fists and your logo's a foot. You're like, what?
Yeah, right.
I like Jack Carnage's comment here. Now all I can imagine is cowboy Imperial fists that swallow swords and get in pistol shootouts.
Yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a sword in competition.
Yeah, we're gonna eat the swords and we're gonna shoot you. Yeah.
And not always in that order.
Yeah.
Lysander just feels so out of place. He's like, well, I want to go chuck some logs.
Oh, imagine they in the old cartoons when they a character would shoot at another character and the character would go and drink water and it all pour out of them.
Yeah.
That's what happens, but with swords.
Oh,
just they clank out of the body.
Is that a Jamesy deficit? Like sword
They have
or something?
iron within.
Yeah, if they get shot too many times, they start leaking swords.
Yeah. But only when they get shot in the stomach.
Yeah.
Are standard years still 1,000 days?
Man, I remember we were talking about this not too long ago, and that's what it seemed like it was. I forget that exact breakdown though. Why do you ask?
Because I just I guess the fact that now it's taking place over if it is 1,000 year or if it's 1,000 days, wouldn't that make it closer to the actual 10,000 year total than rather than it being 8,140 standard years?
Yeah, I see what you're
that's
saying.
Has it been going on for 10,000 years in our head, or has it been going on for
No, I think because this happened after the Great Scouring. This is pretty established a couple thousand years after. Rogal Dorn has left at this point, which has been at least 800 years.
But I thought the Great Crusade was only 200 years.
So the Great Crusade was 200, and then the Horus Heresy was 11, and then the Great Scouring was close to 1,000 years, and Rogal Dorn lived for 700 of those.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost even say that the Great Scouring ended when Rogal Dorn died. Maybe that's almost a good cutoff point, kinda.
But Rogal Dorn, I thought Rogal Dorn said that Rogal Dorn decreed the feast. That's why I'm confused, because it's the feast wasn't. It says in the ashes of the Horus Heresy decreed the feast. Rogal Dorn in the ashes of the Horus Heresy decreed the feast of Blades. So it's Rogal Dorn had to say that it was going to happen.
Yeah, interesting. You know what? It is possible that it's fucked, and we could chalk it into that category.
You're right.
Fucking whoever wrote these notes is an idiot. I'll tell you what. They make us look like idiots when we have to read them.
Yeah, honestly. And
because I'm actually a really good reader, but I read them exactly how they're spelled. So if there's typos, I read that out.
Yeah, and then it like it stumbles you, and it's
Yeah.
just it's hard, man. You know.
But
Let's see. The real Jack Carnage. We need to schedule this note writer to be servitorized. So
Yeah.
there's your Rogal Dorn to come back. Imperial Fist update in order to revive interest in the chef press.
yeah. Red Bionic Hand, the Crimson Fist, if you will. Yeah, that one's a fun one. I like Christian's idea of him coming back and like uniting the Imperial Fists and the Iron Hands. That one's a little harder. He did a good job of explaining it, but
I think it'd be cool if they like announced him in a commercial and they did the Red Fist and they only did it as like Metal Gear Solid 6, the entire, or Metal Gear Solid 5, and then like no one hears a word.
yeah. We can hope. Come on,
Yeah,
GW.
exactly. They like it shoots out and he's got a big rock sticking out of his head.
Jax Carnage says maybe he becomes a Templar, a Black Templar. Yeah, like I think that's probably the case. So I would like to see that. If Rogal Dorn comes back, he doesn't come back as a stern, stoic person. He comes back as almost a berserker. He's angry. He's pissed off. All he wants to do is go crusade. Like that's his fucking thing. He has no more of that patience left. It's just rage, essentially. Rage and vengeance and maybe a little redemption.
That could also explain why his sons don't get like the actual Black Rage, where it's like they become him. It's more like you get some of the aspects of it because I'm dead morally, but not solely.
It makes
exactly.
Sense too. I mean, it would make sense too. He joined the Templars because he never liked the Codex Astartes to begin with. The Templars use it as toilet paper, so that works just fine.
Yeah. 6,000 guys, perfect.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, 9,000 because it's 1,000 dudes from every chapter. That is also only 1,000 people.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And you know, it's just part of the customs, the feast customs. Tradition has its...
No, they're not. These are not related topics.
Yeah, but they're the same words.
Let me Google the word segue for you because I feel like you don't know. Segue.
Lead a conversation into a topic.
Okay, so you're just doing it wrong then, intentionally still. Okay. No, that's fine as long as you're aware.
Listen, no, okay, hold on. I used a word that was in the word that was at the start and what it is the topic.
Listen, you little shit. This is a segue here. Yeah, you can just hop on that bad boy, those two wheels, and segue around town.
Would it be possible to play segue tricks, like royalty-free segue tricks in the background while I read?
Yeah, fucking hitting half pipes on
just
segways.
Like, yeah, some dude just like, fuck it, yeah!
Yes, doing backflips. Holy shit.
Oh, that'd be rad. Why are they out in the middle of the wilderness?
Segways.
Because you can go anywhere on a Segway. That's the thing about a Segway. It might take you to the internet, or it might take you to custom traditions, feast customs, or whatever.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you have to take a Segway through like international stuff, and then you have to take it through customs, feast customs, tradition. Tradition has it that the Feast of Blades is a He's just bad at the.
He's just bad at them.
I'm not. I'm real good. I make them at night. So anyway, the tradition has it that the Feast of Blades is a centennial tournament where each of the participating chapters presents 10 of their finest champions. A series of individual fights are scheduled and fought until only one clear winner remains. The chapter that claims victory in the feast is allowed to schedule another before 100 Terran years have passed. The Feast of Blades serves its purpose. Many pacts are created and obligations honored amongst the sons of Dorn during the feast. But all Astartes are bred for victory. Reigning chapters want to build on past triumphs so that their successes can echo through eternity and catch Dorn's approving eye or ear. wherever the Primarch might now be. The winning of the previous the winner of the previous feast calls the next feast to best complement their advantage. The prowess of their champions and the perceived weakness of their opponent chapters. If a chapter is unable to attend the feast, as has been known to happen on occasion due to the combat commitments, they may request another chapter to take their place. So there's enough chapters to like, hey man, I can't go this weekend. Can you do it for me?
I got work. This orc rebellion kind of happened. I gotta go deal with it. But
Yeah, like I really want to go. Love eating swords, but like,
I love it. Oh man, this is how their Belcher gland was fucked up. Their acid spit. They fucking ate the sword. It nicked the gland.
They ate too many swords. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
They're two-handing them sometimes. I don't.
Sometimes probably yeah. They're Astartes, so they definitely are two-handing them. They can take it.
I really.
What
really,
are for now?
No, of course not. It's just a segue.
It's just a segue to the cage where they hold the ritual combat. But the cage is ceremony arena. It is not some dusty amphitheater. It is an architectural interpretation of the iron cage as far as all accounts allow. But the layout is changed between and within each round of the competition. Even the geometry of the field can be shifted during battles. When fighting in the feast, all combatants wear carapace armor like that worn by the scout marines of their chapter, which consisted of simple sparring arrangement, a tunic, a plated skirt, chest plate, codpiece, ceramic shoulder guards. Plate gauntlets and boots complete the armor. No helmet was worn, and both forearms and thighs were exposed. All combatants in the feats wear the original Imperial Fists Legion's colors in the cage as a sign of symbolic unity. On the one shoulder guards is the Allegant yellow of the old 7th Legion. The second one bears the champion's own chapter's colors and iconography. This is really cool. This is I love how they kind of all put on the same tunic together, but they kind of still have that drawback. Yeah, what a fun event this would be. The rules of the sorry.
They all wear like, so it's all the same tunic?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. They wear the same fatigues tunic under the carapace armor.
Like, we're all Jack's Carnage here, so you know we all can fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fun of them. I thought it'd be like, you know, you got shirts and no shirts. Shirts and pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, they got some funding, so they got jerseys for sure. The rules of the Feast of Blades are simple. Each round can be ended by a simple knockout. 2 champions enter the ring. The one that walks out of the cage is declared a winner. The competition lasts as long as one combatant remains standing. A combatant is only permitted 2 weapons within the cage, their own bodies, to use as they see fit, and a gladius, a ceremonial sword, that is selected about the cage. There are 2, one for each opponent. Or secreted, around the cage. The tips and edges of both blades are smeared with powerful paralytic toxin engineered by the Adeptus Mechanicus, especially for the feast. The more a combatant cuts his opponent, the more likely it is that they will be the first to go down unconscious. The combatant left standing will walk away victorious. There are also rules of conduct in place to ensure an honorable fight, but these are not effective at preventing accidental casualties. In fact, accidental deaths are overlooked while deliberate debilitation is vocally objected against by all participating chapters. The sole remaining champion, after several rounds of such combat, wins the feast and is formally awarded the Dorn's Blade and his chapter's trophy and prize. It is the most ancient and revered artifact of Rogal Dorn by the Space Marine chapters descended from the Imperial Fists Legion. The chapter who wins this honor is granted custodianship of the sacred blade and solemn duty of presenting it at the next feast, when they will host, at most, 100 Terran years later. So very fun, very cool. This cage is wild how it's based off the Iron Cage and just like it's made to kind of fuck you up. There's traps in it and stuff. And also even you go into it without weapons. You're all like your opponent might find the weapon before you do. It's not fair. It's not anything. It just is. And you do it.
I imagined like it's all sandy. Like an actual like gladiatorial pit. Like it's one of those like it's buried under sand and you gotta grab it. It's like
sure, yeah. Oh yeah, and if you don't want to go looking for it, you can just club your opponent with your fists. That's fine too.
It is cool. In the name.
Yeah.
But my question though would be, what happens if like the winner dies before the next tournament can be held?
Yeah, I would imagine just the chapter knows.
Well, yeah, it's in the chapter. I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not like the guy who won the tournament is then like, all right, now you're in charge of organizing the next one. Here's the paperwork. Here's our vendors' phone numbers. Now remember to get those food trucks. That they're not doing that.
Make sure you get in Chick-fil-A. Don't try and haggle with them.
Mm-hmm. Don't haggle with them. Make sure it's spicy deluxe and with pepper jack, please.
Actually, at my school, there one of the girls who was like running the PTA, got Chick-fil-A to pull out on us because she kept giving them shit and was like, "I know you're giving us 50% off, but give us more." And they went, "No," and then they just decided not to do our school anymore.
Well, now I think that gives you the right to pull out on her. So appearance, Gerald, if you want to take it away.
Okay, I know I have no comment on that. The Imperial Fists were the same striking yellow they bore during the Great Crusade, a color chosen by Dorn himself, meant to be seen across the battlefield to remind the enemy that the Imperium does not yield. Their symbol, a black clenched fist on a white field, that is displayed with clarity and purpose, a mark of duty rather than pride. Their armor is clean, disciplined, and without distraction. Each line sharp, each surface maintained with care. Like their doctrine, their appearance is precise, unmistakable, and utterly uncompromising.
Tight.
They're rad, dude. They're definitely autistic as shit. Like 100%. They're like
you don't eat that many swords without.
You don't eat. Yeah. And they're like, it needs to be yellow, and you're like, you can't get it a little dirty. And it needs to be yellow. Yeah, they're all right. They're pretty cool, banana boys.
I still prefer them over the blueberries. So
yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
They're all fruits to me.
Yeah, that was.
Oh no!
I like how many segues we've had tonight. Like we've had the shitty ones, the good ones, the non-consensual.
I think we're becoming masters of the segue.
Yeah, honestly, maybe the real segue was the war gear that we're talking about next. The Imperial
maybe
gun above all other arms. That was good. A weapon as direct and uncompromising as they are. Their doctrine emphasizes disciplined fire and precise application of force, making the roar of massed bolters their preferred reply to any threat. From standard issue bolt guns to heavier variants like the heavy bolter and the storm bolter, they wield these weapons with unyielding. I've never read that word in my entire life. Accuracy. Breaking enemy lines through sustained punishing fire. Where others may rely on exotic relics or arcane war gear, the Imperial Fists trusts in the proven, the functional, and the lethal in their hands. The bolt gun is not just a weapon. It is a tool of justice, shaped by centuries of relentless war.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
They're pretty basic when it comes to their war gear. Like they like the bolter, and that's cool, man. They are super efficient with it. And like in reality, the bolter, or in fantasy reality, whatever the fuck, the bolter is such a crazy weapon. It's like a automatic missile launcher. It's fucking tight.
Yeah, that locks on too. It's rad.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, that was the end of our notes. No more segues. We did it, boys. I like the Imperial Fists. I've always liked the Imperial Fists. It's funny after doing episodes, like just seeing the before and after ranking of how I rank them in my mind, where Imperial Fists, they were always high for me. They were always like an 8 in how much I liked them. And now they're a 9. You know, I like them a little bit more after doing this episode. I like learning about Rogal Dorn and that silent anger where eventually he snaps and makes shit happen more so than he normally does. I like that aspect.
Yeah.
I love the Imperial Fists and how they break down into the separate chapters based on personality. That's also very cool.
Yeah, I think that might actually change my top 5 ranking of chapters. I might actually put the Imperial Fists in my top 5.
Yeah, I think they belong there. You know, there's 3 chapters I think could be the poster boys: Imperial Fists, Dark Angels, or Ultramarines. You know, you could make a good argument for all 3 of them.
I feel like I've seen more Imperial Fist like stuff with the Milky Way sweep video and all that stuff going around. It tends to be Imperial Fists.
Yeah, they've always been pretty well liked. Like, you don't really have any haters where it's like Night Lords, fuck those guys who like that army. Like, but
Yeah, honestly, Night Lords suck, bro, and they're just anybody who like. And also Conrad.
You're right, Jax Carnage.
Yeah,
they
Conrad Curse is
let the record show Jax Carnage is showing his distaste for Night Lords.
Yeah, Night Lords are dog water.
Yeah,
Curse is dog water.
Yeah, like the Dark Angels one, they probably jumped from like a 6 to a 9 for me. Like, they had a pretty big jump after reading everything that happened. But yeah, Imperial Fist, just steady, stoic, always there, old, reliable. I love it.
Yeah.
You guys have any other thoughts?
The blueberries are kind of really low on my list now for Space Marines. I just every time I learn more about another Space Marine faction, I hate them more.
Yeah, pretty well.
Because then you wonder why the fuck did they get all?
Yeah, why are they at the front? Everybody else is better. Everybody else has something cooler about them.
Mr. Stolen Valor Gilliman over there sweeps in at the end of Heresy to reform everything and take all the power. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Don't fuck him. Elves do that.
Let's put him in the tunnel of terror. If it was up to me.
Take about a week in the pain glove. You're going in the pain glove, boy.
Put him in the pain glove. We're gonna put him in the pain glove. We're gonna make him pay for it.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be huge.
Oh Lord.
Oh yes. All right. Well, no call-ins tonight. You know, it's getting late into the episode, but I had a lot of fun, and I think the upcoming episodes, I think we're diving into Minor Xenos. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, I seen your face there, Jack.
Again?
Yeah.
Again?
Well, here's the thing. When we did the first go around, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. But the thing is, we did like a general catch-all on all of them, where I want to do like deep dives where like we can really go into all the Kroot and all their information, all the Demiurge information, and really
Their
get
sperm
it all.
hands.
Yeah, man, I need to hear about those jizz hands.
Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah,
they're gentle, warm embrace.
So gentle, so sweet. So yeah, I'm excited to do these episodes, but yeah, we'll see you on those ones. Quick end of the show notes. If you like Imperial Fists, go check out Merlin's Miniatures. Use promo code Lorehammer. Check the description in the link below, or the link in the description below. You can go buy yourself some Imperial Fists from Merlin's Miniatures. And don't forget to come listen to Lorehammer Listener Lore podcast. Send your homebrew lore in, and I will read it out.
And when you're tired of hearing about Warhammer 40K, which why would you be? If you want to hear more about Warhammer Fantasy or a little bit of Age of Sigmar, hey, come on over to the Grimlore podcast where me and my co-host talk about just that.
Yeah, very nice.
Excellent.
And if you want to shout anything out there, Jax, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I just want to shout out how horrible the Night Lords are. And just say that I am the true Jax Carnage. There is no one else other than me.
And me.
Yeah, and him, and also I am Jax Carnage. We are all Jax Carnage. And yeah, blessed be Blessed be the
Blessed
Carnage.
Blessed be.
And also the other Jax Carnage that's a minor is a faker. He's a minor.
No, that's what I think too.
Yeah. I gave him the name and the idea for Jax Carnage, and he took it and said it's his.
What can we do about this?
Yeah,
maybe it's the Jax Carnage heresy that's happening now. Fuck that guy.
How do you solve a problem like Jax Carnage?
Violence, I think.
You kill him.
You kill him. It's the only way.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let's leave it on threats.
Let's crucify him.
Whoa.
On this Easter holiday, everyone crucify the.
We're gonna pay. We're gonna put him on a cross. We're gonna make him pay for it.
And we're gonna make Israel pay for it.
And then 3 days later,
thanks for coming to Warhammer.
He's risen.
He's risen. And then we're gonna kill the Pope.
Oh no.
I just want to say JD Vance's name does stand for just killed the Pope Vance. All right.
Yeah. And if you don't believe it, you're a fool. A damn fool.
You're a fool. You're brainwashed.
Get me out of here.